Of course, back in session, the Honorable Judge Murphy presiding. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, thank you. All right, thank you. We'll bring the witness back in.
Okay.
Thank you. You may be seated. Wait, I'm sorry, is that what you asked? Yeah. All right, court will note for the record that the witness has been recalled to the stand. You may take a seat. I just want to remind you, you do remain under the obligations of your oath. Thank you. We'll bring the jury back in.
You're just like taking time off.
Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Counsel, please stipulate to the return of all of our jurors.
State will stipulate, Your Honor. Defense will stipulate, Your Honor.
Thank you. Very good. Attorney Smith, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again, Detective Bangle.
Hello.
So we were just talking about the photographs that have been taken of the pilot, correct?
Mhm.
Those have been taken down now. So thereafter, you described having secured an arrest warrant. And you said that when you had done that, you didn't have any cell phone videos available to you at that point, correct?
Yes,
You also didn't have at that point the 36 Laurel Glen video, is that correct?
yes.
And just, if we may, Your Honor, may I approach these exhibits here on the
Certainly, of
stand?
course, yes.
I'm just going to take this one down. I'm going to turn it around so it's not distracting us. Leave it right here. It's 52. This exhibit 1, earlier, I believe you had described this house as being 36 Laurel Glen, but they're viewing the video.
It could be that one, yes.
You think it was this one?
Yeah.
All right, so just let the record reflect that the earlier house appears to be two houses from the left of the exhibit on Laurel Glen Drive, and the house to which Attorney Smith was indicating is the actual house appears to be three houses from the left of the exhibit on Laurel Drive, Glen Drive. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, very good. Thank you.
So when you applied for the arrest warrant for Mr. Valle, is it fair to say at that point that you were going off of what you had been told by the witnesses that you had spoken to?
Yes,
That at that point did not include Mr. De Silva or Mr. Snyder, correct?
correct.
And at 3 in the morning on the 18th, I believe you described that Mr. Valle turned himself in for booking, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And you described that when Mr. Valle turned himself in that morning, it was with Detective McPadden, correct?
Lieutenant McFadden.
McPadden, my apologies. And Lieutenant McPadden took the following photographs. Exhibit 34, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit 35,
Correct.
Exhibit 36.
Correct.
And can you see in Exhibit 36 here on Mr. Valle's left eye what appears to be an injury, some bruising, and perhaps an abrasion.
I could see a small abrasion.
You don't see the bruising there?
Point out what you're looking at.
Discoloration around the eye.
Yeah, maybe on the inner portion towards the nose.
Exhibit 37 was also taken by Lieutenant McFadden, correct?
Correct.
38 was also taken by Lieutenant McFadden.
Correct.
I believe you described seeing some redness, possible abrasion under the hairline there.
Possible.
Exhibit 39 also taken by Lieutenant McFadden, correct?
Correct.
And there you described for us seeing the red scratch marks as well as some what appears to be bruising.
Point out the bruising.
Do you see some discoloration here just past the elbow on the bottom of the bicep?
Possibly.
Exhibit 40 taken by Lieutenant McFadden, correct?
Correct.
And that shows a wound on the heel of his right palm.
Correct.
Exhibit 41, also taken by Lieutenant McFadden, shows some abrasion injury on the left palm, as well as still that same injury on the right palm, correct?
Correct.
And then we saw exhibit 42, taken by Lieutenant McFadden,
Correct.
and exhibit 43, also taken by Lieutenant McFadden, correct?
Correct.
And those were taken, to the best of your knowledge, at around 3 a.m. when he turned himself in that morning?
Yes.
Thank you. And that was done, again, to document apparent injuries that Mr. Valle had on him, correct?
Yes.
That's more than the standard booking photo that's taken of a person, correct?
Not everyone's booked for murder.
I beg your pardon?
It was a murder case, so if we saw someone, let's say in an assault, and they had apparent injuries, we would take photographs of them, more so than just the booking photo.
Standard to take a booking photo, correct?
Yes.
When you notice injuries that you want to document, then you take more photos
Yes.
of those injuries, correct?
Yes.
And that's what was done in this case,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Did Mr. Valle ask you to take those photos?
I do not know. I wasn't there.
And then you said that the investigation continued thereafter, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the investigation went on all summer long, did it not?
Yes.
And it continued, I think you told us, into the fall, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, really continued on into this year when we went and got some of these drone videos that you showed us earlier, right?
Yes.
Now, you told us that you located every attendee at that party. Is that correct?
Everyone that we know of.
Okay. So there are possibly people that you don't know of that were there,
It's
correct?
possible.
Because
Judge has to possibly, it calls for speculation. I don't know what he would know.
I'll sustain so it was sort of a late objection, but you tried to make it. I'll sustain the objection. I will direct the jury to not, I'm going to strike the answer to the question asking if it was possible, if there were attendees who were not there, and the response, that's stricken. And you're not to consider that as evidence, all right? And you will get further detailed instructions about that during the court's final jury charge. Attorney Smith, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Throughout the course of your investigation, did you learn of individuals that were seen in cell phones that you weren't able to actually identify or talk to?
I do not believe so.
So you think that you've spoken to every person that was at that party?
I can't definitively answer that.
And you were describing for us a fight that occurred earlier that evening at 5 Lazy Brook. Do you recall that?
I do.
Where you learned that some attendees had gotten into a Honda Pilot, correct?
Correct.
And then you said that you interviewed everybody that was at that party, correct?
The same.
Again, You can't really tell us that you interviewed everybody that was there. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
But you did secure some video of a fight that took place in or near the garage of 5 Lazy Brook, correct?
Yes.
When did you secure that video?
I do not have the date. I don't have the date in my head.
Was it before or after you got the arrest warrant?
After.
And therefore, it was after you spoke with the people that had been interviewed prior to securing that arrest warrant.
Yes.
And then you also secured video from 43 Laurel Glen Drive, correct?
Yes.
That was also subsequent to actually securing the arrest warrant, correct?
Yes.
And that video, did that come from a Tanner Chernowski?
Yes.
Do you know when you secured that video?
I don't have the exact date, but it was after the arrest warrant.
And in fact, after securing those videos, you then went back and did a number of interviews with some of the people that you had already interviewed. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Now, we saw here before some dash cam or some ring videos that you had secured, one of those being from 36 Laurel Glen Drive, correct?
Correct.
Do you have 44 or does she have 44? The Laurel Glen, 44, Gideon's got it.
Play it.
You described Exhibit 44, which we're going to play for you in just a second here, as showing different angles. There's one angle that is from the door, correct?
Yes.
And there's one angle, and what is that different angle that we've seen?
Well, it's from the front of the house, but
Exterior camera
yeah,
somewhere
maybe
on the
somewhere
wall?
different on the porch. I didn't collect it, but that's what it looks like.
But those are both stationary cameras, correct?
Yes.
Unlike the drone camera, which we'll
Yes.
get to in a bit. And do you know whether or not those cameras are motion activated?
I'm familiar with Ring, and I do know that they are motion activated. This in particular one here, I don't have specific knowledge, but
Do you know how it came to be that this is the only portion of video that we have with regard to that particular area?
rephrase that.
Sure. Did, as far as you know, was there other footage from this same camera?
From 36?
Yes.
No.
And you're not sure whether or not this is a motion activated camera, is that fair to say?
I can't say definitively.
Can we play the first video, the one that runs from about 11:40 prior to the event?
So 37.
And is there a particular file number that
Yeah,
goes
it's
with that?
37, I think. Do you want the one from the front door or from the side?
Let's play them both so we get both of those angles.
So play the 2-3 first. Play this one first. Then that one. No, play 37. Yeah.
Detective Bango, in that video, when we see folks coming from the left of the screen, that's 43 Laurel Glen, the direction that they're coming from?
Yes,
And they are heading in the direction of Farmhouse Lane, is that correct?
yes.
So if you were going to describe for the jurors the path of that video that we just watched, would you just physically show us where that video shows?
Vehicle comes here, and they come to here. What else you looking for?
If you could just identify, could you just somehow use your words to identify what
Okay,
you're
so-
showing?
So
with
here's
your-
Laurel Glen. The vehicle comes from this direction and stops right here in front of 36 Laurel Glen.
So, Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has indicated using Exhibit 1 that the vehicle on the video moves from the front of 43 Laurel Glen, which is marked with the red marker, and it goes to the left down towards Farmhouse Lane in front of what the witness has already indicated is 36 Laurel Glen Drive.
Thank you, so, so noted.
Okay. And there's another video there that shows the same thing, but from a slightly different angle from the porch, correct?
Yes,
Were you able to identify any of the people seen in that video coming from 43 Laurel Glen and following the vehicle?
from the video alone, no, it's not that good of a video. We had to corroborate through witness statements.
And may we see now the video from after the incident? I believe it begins at 11:55 or so.
After. So I think it's 36. Is it? Oh, it's this one. Yeah, you're right. Tatiana's right. So,
And Detective Bango, that second video it comes from after you believe the fight occurred in the front yard of 43 Laurel Glen, correct?
Yes,
Shows two vehicles going down, stopping in front of 36 Laurel Glen.
yes,
And did you identify either of those vehicles?
yes,
Was one of them the Pilot?
yes.
And what was the other vehicle?
That was Megan Traficante's sister.
Megan Traficante's sister?
Yes. It was, I could be mistaken about if that was definitively her. It was someone that came and picked them up. They called for a ride.
Was there a third car that we don't see here that was driven and picked up another passenger from the Pilot at some point?
Through witness statements, yes, there was.
But we don't see that vehicle here, is that correct?
In that video, no.
And you said that there were videos from 44 Laurel Glen Drive, but you couldn't see what was going on in those because the homeowner was blocking, correct?
And the distance from the camera to the yard.
And in fact, that there were videos from 43 Laurel Glen Drive itself, correct?
Only live.
Only live. You learned that from the homeowner who claimed that there was no video recording, it had only been live, correct?
And Ring. We didn't take his word for it.
And Ring.
We contacted Ring.
Now, you said that over the next several months, you tried to interview Mr. De Silva and Mr. Snyder, correct?
Yes,
And in fact, you couldn't do that until November, right?
correct.
In fact, you weren't able to do that until November 2nd with Mr. Snyder, correct?
I believe that's the date.
And you believe that the date for Mr. De Silva was December 6th, right?
Sounds about right.
And in fact, after your interview with Mr. Snyder, which one of them occurred on November 2nd, one of them occurred on November 28th, correct?
I do believe we interviewed Mr. Schneider twice.
And you indicated that after that day of the Snyder interview, you went to try and find the knife. Which day was that?
The
Was
first
it the
one.
second? It
The
was
first
second.
one. The first one. First one.
Did anybody in the neighborhood, in the area which you went to on Adams Drive that you talked about in exhibits 45 through 47, did anybody in that area indicate that they had seen anybody throw a knife in that area?
The night of, no.
Or at any time thereafter?
No. But we did do a neighborhood canvass in that area.
The only place that you came to believe that perhaps the knife had been thrown in that area was from Jack Snyder?
And Tyler De Silva.
You described having taken some measurements, and one of those measurements was from the driveway of 43 Laurel Glen Drive to the pathway or walkway of 36 Laurel Glen Drive, correct?
Correct.
And that was about 647 feet, you thought?
That number sounds about right.
It's pretty accurate. You told us about 2 football fields, right? And were any other measurements taken as far as of the yard itself?
On that day, no. But like I said, with the crime mapping system, yes.
Do you recall any of those measurements?
I don't recall them. No, I didn't memorize them.
For instance, from the driveway where the cars are parked till the end of the yard where the red bush is. Do you have any recollection of what that measurement is?
I do not.
Were you familiar with this neighborhood prior to having gone there to do your investigation?
Somewhat from working there 25 years, but
Would you agree that this neighborhood is comprised of a series of through roads and then a number of cul-de-sacs that lead off of those roads that go the whole way through?
yes,
And you described it as being dark on this evening, correct?
yes,
Is it also fairly wooded in that area?
well, not there what we're looking at, but if you go to the cul-de-sac there, there's some woods. I do believe way on the other end, there's some woods too.
And then there's a river that runs along the backside there just beyond these houses on Laurel Glen.
There's a river that runs behind the end of Adams Drive.
Is that also behind some of these houses on Laurel Glen Drive? Like for instance, 36?
I don't know how far that river goes.
In any event, you searched for a knife fairly extensively and never found it, correct?
Correct.
Now, you described for us having done 4 interviews on the night of into the early morning of the next day, correct?
Yes,
In fact, thereafter and after you made the arrest of Mr. Valle, you went and conducted a number of interviews, did you not?
correct.
And in some instances, you went and interviewed the same people a number of times, correct?
Correct.
And again, you did not interview Mr. Snyder until November 2nd, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't interview Mr. De Silva until December 6th, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Can you redirect? Okay.
Counsel just asked you about your continuing investigation that occurred after the signing of the arrest warrant for the defendant. You spoke to Ricky Fiola, Mackenzie Trafficante, Charlie, and Tommy Connery prior to the submission of the arrest warrant.
Yes.
And based on what you learned from those individuals, at that point, did you think you had enough for probable cause for the arrest warrant?
Yes, I did.
Now, when you spoke to, withdrawn, the investigation didn't end there, correct?
No.
So when you spoke to individuals connected to the party, or connected to the 43 Laurel Glen, excuse me, and other individuals connected to the Honda Pilot, during those interviews, did you learn anything from those interviews that would lead you to believe that you didn't have enough for the arrest warrant that was signed prior on May 16th of 2022?
No, just the opposite.
And counsel asked you about not talking to Tyler De Silva and Jack Snyder until almost 6 months later.
Correct.
What was the reason why you didn't talk to them sooner?
Their lawyers wouldn't allow us.
And did you in fact try to talk to Tyler De Silva on May 15th of 2022?
Yes, at about,
What efforts did you take to talk to Tyler De Silva on May 15th of 2022?
we went to his house, knocked on his door.
And when you knocked on his door, were you informed that you were not allowed to speak to him?
Yes.
Why?
His father said that he won't speak with us without a lawyer, and his lawyer wasn't there.
And how about Jack Snyder? Same thing?
I didn't, but somebody called and it was the same thing.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Attorney Smith, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. All right, you may exit the witness stand. Thank you. Please watch your step as you exit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Certainly. All
Your
right.
Honor, the state has further witnesses. We just don't have anybody left for today.
All right, well, we are in line with the schedule that you provided, so I appreciate that. So at this point in time, we will be adjourning for the day. Before we do that, I am going to read an instruction, a standard instruction to the jury. I ask that you please listen carefully. We're going to adjourn the trial for the day. Remember, you must obey the rules of juror conduct. You will be going home to people who will be curious about the case and about the trial. Remember that you have taken an oath that obligates you not to talk to anyone about the trial or its issues until you have rendered a verdict. This means that you cannot talk to members of your family or friends about it. There are no exceptions. Though your oath should be reason enough to obey this instruction, let me suggest to you a further practical reason. If you were to violate your oath and discuss this case at home or with others, they might give you ideas or details about similar circumstances, and then you would have the problem when you start your deliberations of trying to sort out which information you heard in the courtroom and what you heard somewhere else. Jurors often find deciding issues to be difficult enough without having the added problem of trying to filter out information that they obtained improperly or that was not part of this trial. So do not talk to anyone about this case, nor let anyone talk to you about it. Honor the oath that you have taken. Likewise, you should not seek any information outside of the evidence being presented at trial. Do not visit any location that has been mentioned. Do not look anything up, do any research, or perform any investigation of any kind. Remember that your obligation will be to decide this case based solely on the evidence presented in this courtroom and only on that evidence. Now, it is likely, obviously, that there will be media coverage of this case. Likewise, you are not to read it or watch it or listen to it. If you happen to come across something in the media regarding this case, which I am going to ask you to avoid, but I can't control your actions. You're not sequestered jurors at this point, but I would ask for you to please do your best efforts to avoid any media attention. If you do, however, happen to come across something, you must turn your attention away from it immediately. And if you do happen to overhear something, please send a note through the clerk to my attention without disclosing the nature or substance of that note to any of your fellow jurors. So with that, I am going to once again ask you to please put your notebooks on the chair. Madam Clerk will collect them, keep them in a safe place. They are held confidential. And at this point in time, you will be placed in a room and then you will be escorted from the building by the marshals. Also, please note that our court staff, the attorneys, and anyone else involved in this case, they are not allowed to speak with you or have any communication with you. So please, if you attempt to communicate with them, which I would hope you wouldn't do, but if you do and they don't respond, please understand, no one's trying to be rude or avoid you, but they have been ordered by the court to not have any communication with you as jurors on this particular matter. So I thank you. Have a good evening. We'll see you back tomorrow morning for additional evidence. Have a good night. Same time tomorrow. Thank you.
Everybody put their name on the notebook.
Court stands adjourned.
All right, court adjourned.